Grace and welcome to Dawn. This is a space in your week to just kind of connect and experience God. So I really encourage you to kind of find somewhere quiet, and whether you receive something from what I might be saying, from the worship song after, or if it's just a bit of peace and quiet for you after that, I really encourage you to just focus in on what God might be saying, what He's teaching you, and really lean into that. Okay, so today what I thought I'd share is a bit about my story, but before I do that, I'm just going to read a verse to you. So I want to read John 15 verse 16, and then I'll explain it a bit later. So in the NIV version it reads, "You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit that will last. And so whatever you ask in my name, the Father will give you." So just before I go into that, I'm just going to share a bit about me. So kind of for the longest time, from my journey kind of with God, figuring out who I am and who I am in Him, it's been a real struggle for me. So I remember being a little girl, and as a little girl I would always want to be kind of the center of attention. I'm quite an expressive person, quite like over the top a lot of the time. If you know me, you'll see me smiling a lot, and it's not just like a little smile, I'll be like beaming because I just really like to express myself that way. And I remember as a little girl I was always the same. I'd always want to put on a show for people who were coming round, for my family, or whenever my dad would have the camera out, I'd always like have my face right up there, ready for him to just film me and stuff. And I remember kind of like looking back on videos and seeing that and kind of thinking to myself, as I got older, I feel like my light got dimmer. I feel like when I was at school and kind of through a lot of different experiences in life with friendships and with other things, I felt myself going inwards, like going backwards, and in the kind of way that like I never felt good enough. There was situations that kind of happened and I would always end up being second best. I'd always end up being like the second choice or not quite there. There'd always be someone around me who was a better fit for something I was going for, someone who did slightly better for me than me. Whether it was kind of like me auditioning for a school play and I wouldn't get the lead, I'd get the understudy, so I'd have to learn all the roles but never be that person. In friendships, kind of as well, if it ended up being like 3 people, it was always 2 people and then me, really. I'd be kind of like, if one of those others weren't in school, I'd be kind of the backup in some way. And that kind of really made me feel like my value was coming from the people around me who everybody told me I should be like, and kind of like I put that value on myself. And so I would try to be someone who would be picked first, who would be kind of chosen for all these things, who would be the chosen friend, and that's who I was being. And with that, I became shyer, I became dimmer in a way, because I was trying to just be good, just be there, just be good enough, but I would never achieve it. And kind of it was from the age of like 12 to 13 when I properly actually began developing in my relationship with God. Like, I'd been to church my whole life, I knew the message, I knew that God loved me, I knew that He made for me, that He made me, and all these like Bible stories and stuff, but I never really knew them. They just got like told to me, and I just thought that was the normal in a way. But when I started about that age, 12 to 13, I decided that, okay, like, what would it actually look like, this relationship with God? I think I remember hearing some sort of message and I was like, okay, maybe I need to do something about this. So in that time, I kind of like learned that God loved me again. I learned that He chose me and He made me, but I learned it in a new way. And it wasn't that in the verse it kind of says like, "You did not choose me, but I chose you." And I really knew that. I really started to learn that because I thought in my head that me stepping into that relationship is like, okay, I'll choose God this time and see what He has for me. But it wasn't that. It's that He chose me all along. He was there for me. And before He even made me, He knew the plan that He put on my life. He valued me and loved me. And with that kind of came this overwhelming peace and this overwhelming new confidence. I think every time I learn it, since the age of like 12, 13 and up to now, I've been learning that daily, every time, and it's been a real struggle for me to kind of figure out who I am and what my purpose is. But really, when it comes down to it, my purpose isn't in what I do, but I figure out that my purpose is in who God tells me I am. When I understand that I am chosen and loved, it gives me the freedom to be who I am. And kind of like explaining who you are, it's kind of simple and not like, there's not really anything you can say other than like, I am Grace, like I'm unique in my own way. I have like a different way of doing things to other people, and everybody's the same, and there's no other way to explain it than I am who I am and who God taught me to be. And knowing that love that He gave me, the love that He puts on me every day, and He continually chooses to love me every day. He has this unconditional love for me. When I truly accept that, it helps me have all the confidence in the world, because when I know that I'm not in this alone. He tells us that we're not in this alone. He wants to do life with us. He wants to walk it with us. And so anything that we do, it's not in our own strength, but it's in the breath that He breathed into our lungs. It's in the kind of like reason why He made us. So every time I kind of step up in confidence and start to step into my purpose, it's just through the confidence of being like, okay, like I have God within me, so I'm just going to do what I feel like I should be doing. And if something doesn't work out, that's okay, because God's steering me in a different direction to what I thought maybe. And then, so I'll try that. And it's just this continuing journey of being kind of like accepting all the mistakes that you make and all the things that you do right, but knowing that you're not in this alone. So kind of going back to the verse, I'm going to read it again. So it was John 15, verse 16, and it reads, "You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit that will last, and so that whatever you ask in my name, the Father will give you." Isn't that just amazing? How I spoke about like, we didn't choose Him, He chose us. He came for us first. And in that, we're appointed so that we might go and bear fruit. That's the purpose. He chose us so that we might go and just bear the fruit of who He chose us to be, all of that. And that, so whatever you ask in my name, the Father will give you. It's that relationship. You have to talk to Him. You have to do this with Him, and He'll give you like the will, because it's already in us. So I just really encourage you, as you've listened to this, I really hope that it's spoken to you, whether you're someone who's never really known God before, you didn't really know who this guy was. I encourage you to kind of like maybe just take a minute and pray to Him. That's kind of just having a conversation with Him. Ask Him who He is, ask Him who He's told you to be, and ask Him what His love looks like, and whether you've been a Christian for years, even just taking that time of being like, okay, sitting back and accepting and taking in that love again. So as we go into the song, or if you want to take a couple of minutes afterwards, I just really encourage you to do that.
There's a simplicity, humility to the way you love me, an honesty, a purity. God, you make it easy. No special words or formulas, no, could ever win you over, for your love is undeserved. Even when I'm overthinking, somehow you still make it easy. Your love's uncomplicated. You love me just the way I am. I stand before you. I'm totally surrendered, with open hands and open heart. Jesus, have your way in me. Ooh, Jesus, have your way in my brokenness, my loneliness, and the secrets you see, my deepest thoughts, my hidden wars. God, you see right through me, even when I can't see clearly. Somehow you still love me simply, 'cause your love's uncomplicated. You love me just the way I am. So I stand before you, I'm totally surrendered, with open hands and open heart. Jesus, have your way in me. Jesus, have your way in. And I could sing over and over, I love you, it never grows old. Oh, and how could I tell you enough that I love you, Lord? 'Cause your love's uncomplicated. You love me just the way I am. So I stand before you, and I'm totally surrendered, with open hands and open heart. Jesus, have your way in me. Jesus, have your way in me. Jesus, have your